like, is there somewhere I can see? Is this on YouTube or is this TikTok or what?
This is on YouTube, but
Right,
the link I sent you, do you have a Riverside chat on your side? You should be able to see like a...
If I hit the chat icon.
Oh, no. Whoa, hold on. Sorry. I'm hearing double.
Oh, there you are. I got the live chat.
Nice. Cool. Well, guys, welcome to the live today. I'm very, very blessed to be joined by Lukey Boy. Luke has been in our server. We've known you for a long time now, haven't we?
Almost too long. It's yeah, no, it has been a while. I think I was one of the. I remember it was before you were even on Discord, and here we are now. The Seller Smart's here to take over.
Yeah, we're doing our best, and we've got the OGs in the house today to just have a chat. No, we were talking about this, wondering if we should come into this with specific questions, and I was like, let's just chat. Let's just.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a bit of waffle.
No, exactly. So, Luke, tell us a bit about yourself, just so everyone in the audience who doesn't know who you are knows.
Is this? When you say that, you mean Amazon, or is just like? Just
whatever you're comfortable to
whatever.
say.
All right. Okay. So, oh God, Jesus, where do I start? So I'm a 22-year-old Devon boy. I've always been someone that's quite entrepreneurial. Well, to start off with, not quite entrepreneurial, but from a young age, I was into making money, and first job at 14, and then I sort of got swept into the whole hype beasts sort of wave, and 11 o'clock on a Thursday, I'd be out the front of school to get signal with my friends to buy Supreme and resell it, and one thing or another, stopped doing that for a bit because I was doing my A-levels and my other studies, and then I stumbled over a fabulous thing called Amazon FBA, and I started that, and I messed around with it. Well, you probably say I'm still messing around with it now, but I messed around with it for a long time, and I made a bit of money here and there whilst I was at university, but I never took it really that seriously. So I signed up to one of these big. Obviously I'm not going to name drop, but I signed up to one of these big mentors that you see advertise themselves. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to sign up to this. I'm going to drop out of university, and all's going to be good. And quite frankly, they built the building blocks for me, but I wouldn't say I really picked up that much from it. So I did the course, I paid the money, I learned a bit about Amazon, and then because I didn't really build the momentum off the back of that, it all sort of crumbled. And then probably about 2-3 years ago, I went, right, I've already spent some money on this. I'm working full time. Being someone that's always been into making money, and I've never wanted to solely make my money off of selling my time. I was like, right, I've got to go all in. So I got back into it at the same time as getting really busy with other stuff. But I joined the sort of cook groups. And then there was some other community I met, Reese, and it was a friend.
Your favorite, I remember. I felt smited that day.
I think I said you were my favorite later on. But
I've got to ask, by the way, just before I forget, which part of Devon are you from? Because I'm from Somerset, so not too far from you.
Oh, Somerset. I'm North Devon.
North Devon, okay, yeah.
I'm probably like, without sort of doxing myself, I'm like 30 minutes from Minehead.
Okay, yeah. So my dad lives near Butlins right now, and
right.
Yeah, and I grew up in Somerset, but I did a lot of labour work in Devon when I was in my 20s.
For some reason, I thought you were near the boys down at the prep centre.
No, so the prep centre guys, the prep centre we have is based in Bexley. Reese is based in Essex, and I'm based in Bristol. I came here for university.
Oh shoot! I never knew that.
Yeah,
I have to come see you at some point, because I'm always bouncing around between the M5, M4. Sort of, I always drive to work through Bristol. So
okay. Yeah, yeah,
have to do
definitely
some
do it.
support. But yeah, no. So sorry, back to what I was saying. And yeah, I sort of went back into it all in. I met Reese, and he was before. Well, it was before Seller Smart did their VA thing, and he hooked me up with a VA. So yeah, he's been sort of sourcing VAs for as long as VAs have been sourced, and yeah, that's how I met him. And then he introduced me to Cal because I needed some. Well, with the nature of my sort of day job, I travel a lot. So Cal was my first prep. Well, Seller Smart was my first prep center, and then that's how I sort of got tangled in into the Seller Smart family.
Nice. Yeah.
And here we are
So
today.
remind me, were you in the Easy Arbitrage group when it used to be that? I was talking to Lucy
No,
Cal the other day about how I met you, and I couldn't remember. I thought maybe it was Easy Arbitrage.
no. So the ones I've been in, I was in Live Cops. God, I think Live Cops was the main one I was in, but I joined. I can't remember. I can't remember. Is it? I think it might have been All Things Arbitrage.
Hmm.
It was something. It was like some really mainstream ones. I was in Astro Alerts as well. Yeah, that was short lived, and yeah.
I
But
was in
I've got
I was in some
yeah. Go on.
eBay ones back in the day, but literally everything I bought to resell just tanked and didn't sell for profit. So I was like, how on earth are people making money from this?
Yeah, they're making money off of you.
Yeah. Well, that's actually why we don't like providing leads to people, because we want to. The idea is we want to show people how to do this business model themselves properly, rather than just give them leads that everyone buys and tanks. That's at least our mentality.
I think that's definitely a good way to be. You know, having been someone that's done a long time in cup groups, I can tell you that, you know, let's say you sort of find your own leads, and even if it's a lower ROI, you might turn that money over 2-3 times in the amount of time it would take to sort of turn it over once with someone that's been in a cook group. Because let's say suddenly you buy something from a cook group and it goes to 170 sellers, and you're 169th in line to sell it. You're going to be, you know, even if you're making less money, you could be turning it over a couple more times, even with that lower ROI. It's a bit funny. The other day, my friend bought. Well, actually, I sort of say he bought it, but I suggested a lead. It's probably one of the worst leads I think I've ever given anyone. I think it's a bit of a cursed thing when you sort of say to someone, "Oh, buy this," because they wanted to get into FBA, and it went from a sell count of 6 to 170.
Bloody typical, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, he messaged me saying, "Is this typical?" And, not really.
No, thank God it's not typical.
Yeah, no. You
certainly.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, you certainly have, like most people who do FBA that we speak to work their full-time job whilst doing Amazon, and you certainly have one of the most interesting jobs of anyone in the community, I would say.
It's it's a little bit exotic, you might say. A lot of
How do you
traveling.
even get into that?
Wow, right. This is going to sound a little bit. Oh God, I don't know what the word is. But basically, it was through a friend of my mum's, and so beforehand, my last job before this one, I worked in a fudge shop when I was 17.
Were you
And
packing it by any chance?
no, let's not say that. Let's not just go over like that. Yeah, so I was not packing fudge, and then my mum's friends, he had some scaffold in the area that he wanted taken down. So bit of context, I build festival and concert stages, so it's scaffold steel, and he just happened to be doing some scaffold for a friend, and he needed some help to take it down. So he invited me over without telling me or my mum. He was actually giving me a job interview without telling me he was going to give me a job either. And then it was just as things were easing up throughout COVID, and then he said to me, "Oh, do you want to come do a few days of the yard where we keep all the kit?" I went, "Yeah, that's cool." And he said, "Pack for 3 days." I got in the car. He didn't drive me home for 3 days. I was at a yard probably for 2 weeks, and there's only so many times you can turn a pair of pants inside out. So it was getting a bit rough. But ever since then, I've been here. So yeah, I build festival concert stages. That's how I got into it, and yeah, it's big props to Prep Smart. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them, because with when I'm in Mexico, believe me, I can tell you, God, I'm trying to think of supplier. Curries do not ship to Mexico City, and you can't prep from Mexico City to then send it back to a prep center in the UK. It doesn't work. But Prep Smart have sort of just made that really, really possible for me.
Are you? So I swear you're off traveling every other day. Is that entirely for work, or is it pleasure as well?
So the most recent one you seen when I was out in Norway, that was actually pleasure. That was a holiday for once. Shock. You almost don't believe it, but yeah, no, I just did a very big stint out in Mexico. So I was probably out there for 4 months last year, sort of a little bit on and off. I did like a 3-month period, and then just like a week, 2 weeks, week. And then I've done sort of stints in West Africa, sort of all over Europe. Yeah, I bounce around a bit.
Where's your favorite place you visited so far? I know it's kind of work related, but still.
I think I have to say Mexico.
Because of the Latinas, right?
Yeah, yeah. But if you're Latinas, Colombia, mate, Colombia.
My missus is Venezuelan, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I do a personal podcast with my friend Tom, and we haven't released any episodes yet. But he just had a holiday in Mexico, and he said it was just one of the most unbelievable places he's ever been. Like, food was insane.
Did he tell you where he went in Mexico? Was it one of the sort of holiday parts, or was it the actual just full on the thick of it?
He's the type that would do thick of it. Yeah, he's the type that would do thick of it rather than tourist.
Yeah, it's I think sometimes movies and stuff do a really good job in some senses, but a really bad job in depicting what them countries are like. So in one sense, I think there's sometimes, personally for me before I went to Mexico, I sort of thought, and definitely my mum, because she wouldn't shut up about it, is how dangerous Mexico is. And all these scary people. But I think movies do a really bad job. I think Mexico is probably one of the friendliest places I've been. And I've been to a fair few places, but it does a really good job at depicting it, like just how, everything's just so, I don't know how to describe it, like bread and butter. There's nothing flashy. They just do what they need to do, and it's just it's a really good country. There's lots of culture. The food's amazing. There's the history. Obviously you've got one of the 7 wonders of the world, and yeah. But I definitely recommend it, Sean. Yeah,
I do want to go, and like one of the perks of doing this business model that we do is that you can travel whilst you do it. It's one of the reasons why I try and tell people, like, in the beginning you're going to struggle, but over time, if you're consistent, you can get to a point where it's like pretty automated. Not entirely passive. I think passive income doesn't exist unless you're an absolute baller with huge money, but you can do this business model and travel and everything like that. And yeah, it's crazy to see your photos. I haven't been abroad in so long. I'm like in Norway, especially. I was like, I want to go so bad.
It was well, that one wasn't quite as relaxing. That was just a week of dossing about in the snow and in cars and falling down hills on my bum, trying to learn to snowboard and all that sort of jazz. But
slightly different climate to Mexico.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's like at the average, like minus 25 every day. It's a little bit different. But weirdly, it's like I always prefer a minus 25 in Norway, and I do a minus 2 in England. I couldn't tell you why, it is just so much more bearable out there than just the cold in England is. It might just be some placebo effect, but
I've had a Swedish girl tell me the cold in London is way colder than where she's from, and she was used to, like, as you say, -10 to 20 some days, and she said for some reason it just feels colder here. I'm guessing that's because of the air pressure or something.
I just don't get it, mate. I do not get it whatsoever. But
so tell me,
yeah,
you said you from a young age you like to make money. I was very very much the opposite. I wasn't thinking about money at all until I was post my career job. How long have you been doing FBA now?
So I mean, I can say how long I've been doing it, but actually doing it, so I probably say I've actually only really sort of like put some effort into it probably the last 2 years. But my business has been registered since 2023, and I first signed up for an account in 2021. But like I know that's a big period of time, but do not underestimate how, having just described what I do, how hectic my life is. Like for example, I've just finished work and I've just absolutely raced back to the hotel just to get onto this call. So it's like, people can definitely scale so much faster. I just happen to live some ridiculously harebrained life.
Well, to be fair, you must get paid good money for what you do. So if you accompany that with an
yeah, it is good. It is good. But there is a reason my hairline's 2 inches further back than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I noticed over the last couple of years we took a few gambles in our business, and I certainly got grayer hairs from them.
Yeah. It's just like every time you go to the barbers, and you just think, well, it is what it is now, and then you cut it again. It's like it's gone back even further. At some point, I'm just going to blame the Turkish barbers. Like, I'm just going to say that they've been cutting it back, and I want some compensation or something.
They're in it together, aren't they? They thin your hair out so you go to Turkey and
you
get a hair transplant.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Definitely not aging or stress.
No, or jeans.
Or jeans. I didn't actually say B1_P156 waved. Hello to anyone out there watching, by the way. Welcome.
Oh.
So you took it. You've been taking it more seriously for the last 2 years. You've done it a bit longer. What was, if you're happy to say, what was your best month so far?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, crumbs! I can have a quick look. Let me whip up STK. Is it a profit or revenue?
Either way, like, you don't have to out yourself if you don't want to. But I like that as a question because it kind of, to me, it kind of depends on the style you go for. Because I know people who started with this and they had like 20K coming in, and they obviously got really good numbers right away. But I know other people who, like someone in our community, Alex, he started with £500 last year and he just got to 97K revenue. And I'm way more impressed by that hustle, because starting with 500 these days is so hard.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. In December, the one just gone, I done 8,600 revenue.
Very cool.
With a 27% ROI.
Yeah, so that's really impressive when you consider that you're traveling all the time, and you said yourself you're kind of half-assing it. That's really good.
No, it's it's like I say, I know, and I think it should be the case with everyone, that I am my own biggest critic when it comes to that. But yeah, I definitely am half-assing it. But yeah, onwards and upwards.
Prioritization. I don't think you're half-assing it. I think you're obviously doing well in your career, and you've only got so many hours in the day, don't you?
I know it's pretty painful, because to be honest, it's normally the sleep that gets axed for all these other activities. My Whoop. I had this conversation with you the other week. My Whoop is crying at me at the minute.
How old are you again?
22.
22, yeah. So I was going to say I pretty much didn't sleep until I was 25. I think you've got a good period where you can get away with it, and then for a little period after that, you've got to play catch up.
Sleep when you're dead, mate.
Which is ironic because if you don't sleep, you'll be dead faster.
Well, I won't say that. I was about to say sounds good to me as well. That's probably a bit too sinister.
It's just a little dark. So you've been doing FBA a while. Are you going to double down on it at some point, or is it just kind of like a lifestyle thing for you?
I think I don't think I'll ever double down, but I do think I will take it more seriously, only in the sense of once the capital ramps up, I'll put like a lot more systems in place, and I will be looking for an admin VA. I don't think that's quite at the I'm anywhere near needing an admin VA, because I'm when building processes in business, I think you need to sort of max the capacity of something. Like you need to be having a capacity problem before you then go and hire. But that's just my own personal. And then that's when you then sort of keep gunning for more. So for now, I rather do it myself on a struggle. I'm sort of spinning off topic a little bit here, but yeah, I sort of prefer that I do it myself in a struggle. But like I say, it would just be a case of I'm just going to keep building systems and just try and keep making my life as easy as possible whilst doing it. So yeah, I think it will grow, but I'll never double down.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think that's a good mentality. You work until the wheels fall off, and then delegate, outsource, automate along the way. But Sam and I both say all the time, getting an admin VA changes your life. It just makes, especially a good one. If you can get a good admin VA who doesn't just handle the Amazon stuff, they handle just general tasks that you ask them to do. They let you know about stuff. When they're good, it will change your life. And I think for someone like you who travels a lot, when you hire your first one, you'll be like, oh man, I wish I had one this whole time.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely will be, but I'm someone that's quite sort of methodical about my ways. I can be, my friends would describe me as sometimes stubborn. But for me, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't happen. And I completely understand from what you've just said, but until the numbers add up to me, I wouldn't want to do that personally. But I can completely see why someone would go ahead and do that.
I don't even think that's stubborn. That's just being sensible, isn't it? Like if your business can't afford an employee, you shouldn't hire one.
But yeah, exactly. I think you might be the first ever person to say my name is sensible in the same sentence.
No, I do love it. And like, obviously we have a recruitment side of our business, but we're very transparent with people. We get like loads of brand new people saying, should I get a VA straight away? And it's like, you don't even know how to source yet. Like, and you're going to have to pay them at least 350 quid a month. So if you're not making that in profit, you're making a loss.
Yeah, no, so I think that's something I did. So obviously I said earlier that when I first met Reese, I took on a VA, and I think that was possibly one of the bigger mistakes I did, because having come off the back of just being in cook groups, I never really did my own deal sourcing. And I can tell you for a fact, cook groups, you might get a bit of help in how to source, but it's very minimal. Actually, if minimal, actually it doesn't exist, should I say. So I come off the back of that and I went, VA, I've heard all these people say VA, I'm going to get a VA, I'm going to have leads coming out my ears, but I didn't know how to source myself, and I got one, and he was good. But the problem is because I didn't know how to source, and I didn't know how to deal analyze properly, I didn't actually get the most out of him. So I ended up letting him go a little bit later because, like I say again, it didn't make financial sense to me to keep him on, because I had all these leads that were not necessarily tanking, but they weren't selling fast, or I was over leveraging, I was buying too many. And that just sort of comes back to the point that I do think it is really, really crucial that you know how to source yourself before you actually get these people in. But I've recently had one off of you guys, and yeah, he's just been yeah, I've never seen a VA like him. He's a machine. But now, because I know how to source myself, I can actually give him that criticism, and I can have that sort of dialogue, and it makes it's just so much more useful. So yeah, I completely agree with you when you say that it is important that you know how to source yourself and you know the systems yourself before you employ someone to do something.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think a lot of people who do this model, they either work a 9 till 5, or I'm going to give you a prep example. They live in tower blocks. Sometimes, if you really want to do this business model, sometimes you have to outsource. Like, if you live in a tower block, you can't do your own prep, then you're going to have to afford a prep center unless you've got another way to do it. Or if you're working a 9 till 5 job and you've got the capital, but you don't necessarily have the time, then maybe a VA can be good. But I agree with you. I think you need to be pragmatic with your decision. You need to be able to afford it. Because you have to remember as well, these are people, aren't they? So you don't want to give someone a job and then sack them 2 or 3 weeks later because you realize you've made a mistake.
Yeah, no, that's a very good way to put it. And I think it is important because I've seen some people sort of just let go VAs like that. I mean, I've always tried to find them a job or find them an opportunity, but it is people's livelihoods, and at the very minimum, it's you don't want to see that. It's exactly the same as seeing your friend or your mum or your sister just suddenly lose their job on a day's notice. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that one, Sean. But speaking of team members, I've seen you guys you're expanding. You've got more people coming on, do you?
Yeah. I was actually trying to think earlier how big our team is now. I think we've gotten to 15 people, which is really exciting.
Bloody hell.
And we're going to be taking on another prep staff team member very soon. We're actually, I said this earlier in our mentorship chat. We're trying to expand to a bigger warehouse soon, but it's commercial property in the UK is so competitive, and because of the brilliant government that we've got in power right now, it's so expensive to have a brick and mortar business in the UK these days.
It is indeed. It is indeed. No, that's exciting because no, I've definitely seen there's more presence in the chat with all your new members and all the new team, and no, it's definitely exciting. I haven't seen it just start off with just the Three Musketeers.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's well, I can hear myself. Yeah, it's honestly, it's been very exciting. We did, all of us took a big gamble on Seller Smart. We left jobs. We even had to pause our stores to focus on it full time, which was a hit to the income. We took a really big gamble, and I was saying to my partner, she supported me through so many risk-taking decisions, and we were saying this is going to be a hell of a story one day, because it was quite risky. It's very against the grain. I don't think people would reject a really good salary job to take a risk on themselves or their own business. And since Q4, we've been really growing and picking up. And the biggest thing we're so proud of is that so far we only have positive reviews and people seem really happy. And that's just what we want to continue that trajectory. And I'm just, I really am. I feel very grateful because we have such a great community like yourself. I haven't even paid you to say all these things. And honestly, FBA just unlocked the life for me I just never could have imagined before, working a PAYE job. So I do love it. I can see why you wouldn't want to double down whilst your life is so busy. Like, wanting to refine it and get better is probably a safer bet for you.
Yeah, I think I think it's just with me personally is I've got some very big aspirations, and to me I need to go like really really stupidly big, and that is all in the pipeline for me at the minute. But I'm not fake to myself in the sense of, well, I can't afford to put these big aspirations on hold at the minute, to get the Amazon going, which I completely could do. Take a couple of years out, but it put me back in them aspirations, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think that is it. That's probably the reason why I'm not willing to double down. But at the same time, it's yeah. yeah, I'd probably just say that's the reason.
What would you say, like, since you started, the game has changed, and we get asked all the time if it's worth getting into in 2026, which obviously we think it is, because, you know, we do it, we promote it, we help newbies. What would you say is the biggest difference you see now in comparison to when you started?
There's less of this big hype train, and I think it's a good thing, because you've not got all of these big people screaming and crying from the rooftops about how brilliant Amazon FBA is. They've moved on, and because of that, it's left all of the, you know, well, all the people who come in, they make a couple quids, they tangle the prices, they've all gone. You know, don't get me wrong, it's still about, but I think that is definitely, it's in one sense it's improved the scene, but, you know, at the same time, there's all sorts of different factors which have gone on. You know, it's with the Amazon ungating, and that's now just become a bit of a pain. And there's, you know,
did you see the reports this week?
No.
It's this week. Loads of people saying ungates have gone back to first or second try being approved.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Me personally, these last few days, I've been getting absolutely battered. I have with that. I'm not having the best time of it. But sorry, when you said report, I thought you meant like some article or something. I don't know why, but I have seen quite a few people say that. Yeah, it might just be me. Probably me.
I was a bit formal there, wasn't I? The reports, the people, the people in our community.
Right, Financial Times breaking news.
Yeah.
Amazon ungates. But
I agree with you. I said this exact same thing yesterday, where, like, if you actually look at Google Trends, Amazon FBA is trending down, and I think that's a good thing, because exactly what you just said. There's far fewer people coming in and tanking listings. It is still happening, but that's why you've got to get good at sourcing and be more selective. But yeah, it's, you know, 3 years ago it was at its peak, and that was when I started, and it was working back then 3 years ago. At least it was for me. So now it's even less competitive. I actually do think it's a really good time to get into it. But I'm honest with people. I say you have to have a thick skin. You have to be patient. You have to understand this isn't get rich quick, and they have made it a lot harder. So you just need to have a thick skin and keep being consistent.
Indeed. And I think it's one of the things is I think you've got to have the mentality as well, is that you're going to come in and you're not going to make, you know, you're not going to make enough money just to pull a load of cash out instantly. It's you've got to then put the money back in, and, you know, you're putting money up front, and then you need to sit there and you need to watch your compound if you actually want to see some decent growth and you want to see some returns. You know, like I say, when I was doing all of this at university, I was trying to do that. I was just trying to make a couple quid, but, you know, what you don't think about is, okay, so I've paid for SellerAmp for a month, I've paid for Keeper for a month. You know, you've got your FBA fees, and by that point, right? Okay, so on STK or on my own spreadsheet or whatever, it might say, oh, cool, I've made 30 quid or whatever, but because I've not rolled that money back over a couple of times, it's all just disappeared, and it's almost pointless. So I think it's really important that you put the money in and you just keep working at it, and you keep working at it, almost like your own managed, to start with, like your own managed savings pot in a sense. And all you're doing is just turning over ROI, and just doing that really.
We did a poll in the community the other day, which I'm sure you saw, where I asked the more experienced people how much they think you need to start with these days. And the majority vote was £1,000. The second highest vote was £2,000. And yet I still get pushback from people, where so many people online claim that you can start this with 200 to 300 quid. And whenever we go live on TikTok, I have to say, if you're paying 30 quid for a subscription for Amazon, you're paying €29 for Keeper, and you're paying $13.95 plus VAT for SellerAmp. If you're only starting with 200 to 300 quid, where's this profit coming from? Because you're spending almost 100 quid on software and labels in that first month. You need to start with a bit more money.
I think the only way you can realistically do it with that little amount of money is if you've got someone holding your hand completely. You know, and when I say holding your hand, I mean spoon feeding you. Like they're doing all the deal analysis, so you're not paying for your keeper, you're not paying for your SAS. They're literally just saying to you, right, you need to buy X amount of these units, and you know, and it's got to be a good lead as well because it's going to flip over. Turnover. I don't know why I said flip over, but it's you know, it's gonna turn over, and that capital's going to come back through. So they've got to spoon feed you, and then you've got to get the money again, and then yeah. I think that's the only way you can do. You sort of do it that sort of cheaply, but otherwise, I personally do think around about 1,000 mark is your best option. You know, I think it's something that you should treat almost like an investment. If you can keep putting in a little bit and a little bit, then it's gonna keep growing faster and faster. But yeah, I think you know £1,000 is completely doable.
It is. Amazon essentially is just a physical stock market, isn't it? It kind of acts the same way. You've got the same like emotional sellers who jump on a listing and then crash their price just like you do in the stock market. It is just a physical stock market, and that requires compound growth over time and reinvestment.
Exactly that, mate.
In your business with your VA, do you set yourself like any targets? Do you set yourself spend targets?
I don't set myself spend targets. Me personally, I just work with the VA, so I don't really, I don't, because personally, with my feeling of a spend target is if I set myself targets, because I always do this, is I'm someone who's quite big on smart targets. If I set myself a target and I put a time frame on it, I'm gonna try and force. You know, if I say I'm going to spend £1,000 this week, and on Friday I spent 200 quid, and then on the Friday I get not a load of slop, but some leads which look a little bit dodgy, I'll just buy stuff when I shouldn't. So for me personally, what I tend to do is I just spend more time on just having that dialogue with the VA, saying to him what I do like, what I don't like. The ones I really like, I go deep on. You know, that's not necessarily the best strategy when you're starting out. I went quite deep the other day on some stuff. Yeah, I because I feel like when you're starting out, you don't want to go deep. You want a big sort of spread of products. Whereas you know, if you go deep, then you know you might have stock for a long time. You're not going to go out of stock, and you can find new leads and yada yada yada. But that's what I typically tend to do. Is I don't do spend targets. I just sort of work with VA to get the best products I can, and then I nurture the good ones.
Okay, so two things I would say to that is one, I completely agree. Buying crap is way worse than not spending at all. And I think that's a mistake we all make in the beginning, because in the beginning, newbies really struggle to find leads. And when they find something, even if it doesn't work, they want to make it work just to spend that money. But it is honestly better to just not spend anything at all.
Exactly that, mate.
The other thing you said, you like smart targets. Do you ever go for stretch ones as well? Or is it always in the...
I've never heard of a stretch one. What's the stretch one?
You know, you got a target that you want to aim for, but you set a bigger target as well as a stretch goal to see if you can make it, and you think of things that you have to do in order to achieve that stretch.
I've never done it as a smart target, but normally what I do is I'll have like a big headline, and I've got all my little ones underneath it. If that sort of makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Does that count as a stretch? But that is just normally when I've got something I need to do or I want to do. I'll sit down on a Google sheet and I'll write an action plan out, and that is what I do.
That's one of the biggest things. I think when so many people I've spoken to, when they set targets, they're not really specific about what they need to achieve to actually get there. So it's like, I love the hustle. I love the ambition to get that big number, but how are you going to do it? You have to break it down, don't you? And then you have to apply yourself with those actionable tasks to get there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But something as well that I really like to doing when it comes to setting these targets is I think a lot of people, and I still do it myself, but we sort of under guess what we're capable of. So we set a target that doesn't push ourselves. But there's this quote, I seen it quoted next to Elon Musk, but I'm sure someone else has said this. But it's work out what your 10-year goals are, and then after that work out how you can do it in 1 year. And if you can write a roadmap to that, even if you fail to get to your 10-year goal, you're already further than you would be within 1 year.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. It's the same concept of aiming for the stars and landing on the moon, isn't it?
Exactly that.
Another one I love is people overestimate what they can do in a month, but massively underestimate what they can do in 10 years.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
So what's your mentality with Amazon? Are you going to cap it at a certain point? Are you going to or actually I should say, do you do any other stuff alongside it as well?
Well, what sort of other hustles or?
Yeah, the hustles. Because I ask because some people like to cap how much they earn just to spread their risk and try other stuff. Other people.
No, I'm someone that loves the idea of as many fingers in as many pies as possible. But I do also. I mean, I don't really make much money off of it, but I import and I export some stuff. I import some charcoal, and I export sort of like safety gear and stuff. I just anything and everything with me, anything and everything. But I don't think I'll ever cap it. It's just like I say, systems. I just need to keep pushing it until it gets to the right point to put the next system in play, and then that is where I'll go from. But at the minute
I'm crypto or anything like that.
Wow, I did not for very long.
I don't know anyone who's actually made money from investing in crypto. I know people who've made a lot of money and then lost a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, not crypto, but I was an NFT warrior back in the day.
Okay.
At university. I can't remember what it was. It was like all these like Lego characters or something, and I got really up for it. My mates called me like, yeah, get on it, and I put like bear in mind I was living on a student loan, and I was working to sort of live the other part of that, and I just shoved a load of money into this NFT, and then I've still got it today. I think it's like I probably paid like $1,000, and I'm down to like 70 quid.
Oh no. I know Gary V still to this day goes on about NFTs, and I've never understood it. I've never understood why it would work.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that's come out, but I think it's ahead of its time. Right, I think it's very ahead of its time. And I think NFTs is definitely one of them. And I think personally, like I don't really know too much about crypto. So I've got an understanding about it, but I'm not one of these people that can tell you the ins and outs. But
I was just going to say, I was really convinced that I was going to allocate a percentage of my monthly income every month to the S&P and index funds. But then recently you see that like most of the index funds are just like 4 or 5 companies now. And I realized over time, if I invested that money in my own business, it's likely that I'm going to get a higher return.
Yeah, no, that's something that's a decision I made a couple months back. So I still put money into my stocks and shares ISA just purely because compound growth, and that is a little bit of just I've got a bit of a rainy day pot, but I was putting a substantial amount in, so I was actually maxing out my ISA every year, and it got to the point that I sort of turned to myself and I went, okay, so on a good year I might make 15% here, but if I put that money into my Amazon or something else, and I can make 20% just in one cycle, and that's conservative 20% because I aim for obviously 20% is like a bare minimum, and you can make 20% on it multiple times in a year. if you do the maths, one is substantially better.
I could not explain to you why, but I know it's bigger. No, I'm joking. All right, so you like to have your fingers in many pies. Again, that's super common. Like I was kind of ashamed when I first started doing social media. I was ashamed initially to admit that I tried so many different things in my first year. Most of them didn't work. Most of them went wrong. But then, you know, we've been running the community long enough now. I've spoken to enough people to know that that's everyone. It seems everyone dabbles in a bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like, you hear about all these things, you try all these things, and 9 times out of 10 they will work, but they're not. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And I think it's about finding the right thing. You know, like I've got a friend who does drop shipping. I've tried it, didn't work for me, but he's tried FBA, doesn't work for him, and it's just one of them things. And I think it's all about trying, and I think failing is part of the process. Definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was the same. My partner and I tried drop shipping. We ended up losing loads of money. And one of the reasons I was so frustrated with this, you know, you come from the Amazon space and you think Amazon is tough on sellers. It's not a good, it doesn't treat its sellers very well. But then when we did drop shipping, we had ads that were really good. They were perfectly fine. And we had landing pages that were really good, but we had no sales and we were pouring money into ads. Literally all I did was change ad accounts and we started getting sales, and the guys we were getting coaching from were like, oh yeah, you just had dud ad accounts. And I was like, well, great, I've just wasted thousands of pounds. And it turns out it was a dodgy ad account not working. Yeah, I just lost faith in it, but because I was surrounded by people who were doing it and really convinced it was going to work, and none of them were really making money from it.
Yeah, no, I get that completely, mate. I get that.
But
completely.
I mean, it does work because you know, it does work for some people, because some people do really well, and I think that fits perfectly into what you said, that just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it won't work for someone.
Yeah, no, definitely, sir. Hang on, sorry, my computer's sound like it's about to take off here.
Yeah, you've been powered by potato a couple of times on the call, but you seem to be good right now.
So we get back up here.
So do you have any advice for new sellers out there? Because you're a couple of years into the game now. Do you have any advice for newbies?
Just, you know, I think actually learning the skill, you know, learning the skill of sourcing and deal analysis. I can't what's the words? Understate its importance. You know, I think you need to really take some time. I think you need to initially get some training. Look at the mentorship or courses which Seller Smart can do.
Again, you're not paid to say that, so thank you.
I'm not paid to say that. And it's a case of it's getting the reps in. It's getting out and you're doing it yourself. Don't just jump straight to a VA. Learn it yourself before you sort of go to a VA, and just get the reps in. You know, you can't expect yourself to get, you know, a gazillion % ROI leads every single day. You're going to buy some which aren't going to go well, but it's part of the process. And that's all I can say is just you know, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Very well said. Yeah. And like so many people try sourcing for a couple of hours and they're like, bro, what is this? I can't find anything. It's like, yeah, it's a skill, my friend. You literally, the analogy I always use is you can't be Messi on your first day playing football.
Yeah.
And I don't even like football. I don't even care about football. It's the most obvious one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But it is a skill. Yeah. I don't think people outside of the industry understand that sourcing is a skill. It requires repetition. And like the biggest thing that I constantly see people not doing is collecting data. You need to set trackers. You need to keep an eye on storefronts. You need to keep an eye on retailers, suppliers. You need to keep an eye on discount codes. You need to keep track of all of that. Otherwise, you're just guessing, aren't you?
Exactly. And it's you know, it's finding these things, and you know, you'll pick up your own methods. like the way I source won't be the same way you source, won't be the same way resource, won't be the same way someone else in the community sources. Everyone's got their own different things that they're going to do. We might all be doing the online arbitrage, but I might do more of one thing, and I might spot products in one way easier than someone else. And it's just like I say, if you do the reps, you're more likely going to spot your niche. You're going to spot how you can do it. And that's when you start building, and that's when you start finding the products. That's when you start turning it over. ROI's coming in, money's coming in, and that's when things start to snowball.
That's an interesting point. Do you think you need to niche down, or is it?
No, not at all. But I think you will pick one up in a sense. It's a bit like it's a bit like being a builder, but you've got your own little sort of niche. You might be a plumber. God, this is a really weird metaphor, but it's just I don't think you need to niche down necessarily. You can if you want, but I think just from doing the reps, you will end up picking one up. But it's finding something that's going to suit you.
Yeah, and if you have like existing expertise in a niche, then that actually could help you, couldn't it? Because like, let's say you're really into beauty products, and that certain retailers always go on sale at the same time every year. That knowledge is going to help you with sourcing. Or
exactly.
As you said, if you're a plumber or a builder and you know that you can get wholesale pricing on tools from this certain supplier because you're a plumber or a builder, that could help you sell really well.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. But yeah, like I say, reps are the most important thing.
You're mostly OA, right? Or do you do A to A as well?
I was so anything I source is I only source personally OA. My VA sources me a lot of A to A, and then someone gave me a lovely little wholesale link the other week, so I've got my first wholesale leads in.
Nice.
First wholesale sale today. Thank you very much. Wink.
Yeah, no problem at all. It was for an Ungate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for an Ungate.
Yeah,
and he just sort of says, "See what else you want to add." And I'll do my best price. Like, sweet. So,
yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. The wholesale game is really interesting. I like it. I've got some really good wholesale suppliers, and I've said before, I was made one of 5 authorized sellers for this very big European brand. It's really good. I don't think it's as accessible as people online let on. I think in order to do wholesale well, you do need more cash. But the occasional supplier, you're going to find leads. It's not impossible to find leads with wholesale with less than $5,000. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Completely agree. But I do think wholesale is a very powerful tool. But then that's when you're talking about the big money, like you say.
Yeah, wholesale is a game where let's say you find a wholesale supplier and you can get a lead. If your budget is 1 to 2K, you're competing against other wholesalers who have hundreds of thousands to millions of pounds. So even when you find leads, you will find wholesale leads tank just as much as arbitrage leads can, because other people have bigger budgets than you. So yeah, not only do loads of suppliers not like to work with small Amazon sellers a lot of the time, but yeah, you're just battling the game of volume against other people. So that's why we recommend OA and 8A more. But if it depends on your personality type, doesn't it? If you're really focused on scaling and you think wholesale is the way to do that, then fair enough, go for it. But yeah, we advise OA, A to A for most people.
Yeah. No, I think starting out OA or A to A is sort of your main options. I mean, I personally say OA. Even though you get a lot of leads, which as provided you avoid like the body shop and things, you get a lot of leads which can get quite saturated. But I find he's sticking because of what I put in the chat the other day.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that body shop comment was so painful.
It's painful. Yeah, as long as you stay away from the body shop.
Yeah, body shop will give the most amazing leads, and you're always like, oh, should I do it? And then as soon as you take a chance, bloody everyone else did as well, and it tanks.
Yeah, and price just go, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think OA is probably better because if you get some A2A leads, which can be quite saturated, but at the same time, is also sometimes Amazon might take a while to go out of stock. I think that's when, if you are going to do A2A, EU A2A is very powerful because it's very undersaturated, well, not saturated, and there's you can get a lot of pings which aren't don't have many people on at all.
Yeah,
so
we spent like a year of our lives dedicated to EU 8A, so that's why I say online all the time, I'm convinced we're the most knowledgeable group on EU 8A, just because we were like so focused on it for so long. And it has its problems, just like any does, but you are right, it's way less competitive. I've got to say as well, you reminded me, you know what my worst mistake was?
What?
Bloody Meta, whatever they are, or augmented reality headsets. I spent like 1,500 quid on those, and the price just stayed low. So I lost so much money over 6 months with those.
Oh, I was it A2A? Was that an A2A one? Was that a Curry?
I think it was an 8A. Yeah, Sam bought them as well, but he only bought 2 or 3. I think I bought 10, and I spent so much money.
I think I bought a couple of them a year or two back. Actually, was it? I can't remember. I think that might have happened to me as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, loads of people bought 1 or 2, and I was stupid. I bought 10, and that was a nightmare. To be fair, as soon as I lowered my price, they sold out in seconds, but it was painful.
Yeah, no, but that's just part of it. It's just, yeah. I've got, for example, my Body Shop lead, which is sat there staring at me in my inventory, but it just happens, mate. You know what it's like.
Yeah,
and a couple more.
It's more wins than losses, and I think Alex and Layla Hormozi, I love the way they said, if you want to make 1 million, you need to be willing to lose 100,000. If you want to make 100 million, you have to be willing to lose 10 million. Same with Amazon. Yeah, okay, you may get a handful of products where you have to hold on to them because silly people come on and tank listings, but it doesn't happen to all of them. And that's why you said it earlier yourself. You have to spread your risk and just buy as many products as you can, especially when your capital is lower in the beginning.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. And then that's when you get bigger, you start getting deeper and yada yada yada, and so on and so on. But yeah, no.
You ever tried places like eBay and Vinted, or you?
Oh, what's for selling? I was going to say, yeah.
No. For sourcing? No, not for sourcing.
I was going to say, what? No, I have actually just started like cross-listing a lot of my things over onto eBay as well, especially the slow sellers. That is something I've just started doing quite a bit. I've never really done Vinted. Got banned back in the day, back in the Hypebeast days, and I've just not really been bothered to get back on.
Vinted is super trigger happy with bans, and it seems almost impossible to get your account back once they do.
Same with Depop. Depop was but eBay have just bought Depop.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
I wonder if I'll be allowed back on. A man can hope.
eBay's good. I like eBay, but the thing is, it just doesn't have the sales velocity of Amazon. Everything sells on Amazon so much quicker. Exactly.
But I think it comes down to an eBay. If you actually do promote it as, let's say you are fulfilling with Amazon using the multi-channel fulfillment, and you can show it's got a quick delivery, I do think that will actually massively increase your sort of the sales you're getting. I think it's normally the shipping which puts people off of eBay. I mean, me personally, yes, that is something that, let's say I'm at work and my boss says to me, right, here's an example actually. I needed to buy a new door handle for the side door on our transit van. I went onto eBay and it was like £2.60, but a week shipping. I go onto Amazon and it was about £11.30, but next day, and my boss was like, just get the one that comes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you can promote that you are going to ship it quickly and it's going to arrive quickly, I do think that will help. But yeah, I don't think many online places compete with Amazon, in terms of sales velocity.
I got really deep into the world of drop shipping on eBay. So drop shipping from Amazon to eBay, doing eBay listings and then selling them from other Amazon sellers' listings. I got really deep into that. And I was trying for a long time to develop a done for you like profit share system, where in our mentorship I was going to say to people, if you want a done for you system for eBay drop shipping, we could run it for you. But we ended up getting scammed by this guy in Pakistan who one of my friends recommended him, and he ended up scamming us. Another way I lost money. And by the time I found the guy who actually could do it, and I trusted because it was from a better referral, someone I trust even more, the guy from Pakistan had cooked our accounts to the point where this guy was like, mate, I can't do anything with these accounts. They're completely toasted.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it didn't work, which is
So
a shame.
how did that work then? Like, you were doing the eBay part for other sellers. Was that like what were you contacting these Amazon sellers saying, "Oh, we'll sell your stuff on eBay as well," or were you buying direct off the Amazon buy box?
It was the boys in the team, actually. I was trying so hard to convince them to like, hey, give me your eBay accounts, let me do it. I had 3 or 4 eBay accounts across myself, my partner, and her little sister. And yeah, Sam trusted me with it and lost 500 quid overall. So I was like, sorry, Sam. But yeah, like it does work. It actually does work. It's just been made a lot harder over the years. They've clamped down a lot. And like Amazon, it's well, with Amazon, we teach people to follow the rules. You have to stay above board. With eBay dropshipping, you would use software like Zeek Analytics or something like that, and you would find Amazon listings that sell quickly, list them on your eBay, put them on for a markup, and then sell them dropship from Amazon. Yeah, my accountant used to make really good money doing it, but he said it just got harder and harder over the years to do. And it didn't feel legitimate. Even when we were making money doing it, it didn't feel legit. I wanted a business model that I felt safe doing for the next 10 years. I don't want to do something where I'm constantly in fear that I'm going to get restricted or closed.
Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard doing it that way. If let's say you are buying direct off the buy box, you get a lot of returns as a result of people see that you're sending. Because I know you can get you get more returns because people don't like the fact it's coming in Amazon packaging. I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought the only way you can get the clear pack, sort of the plain packaging, is if you are doing like a multi-channel fulfillment order.
Yeah, it is. And I had no returns for that reason. If people, like, maybe 2 or 3 people asked, and I just say, yeah, we sell on multiple marketplaces, so some of our stock is on Amazon. That's what people do. But I know a few people who make good money doing that, but as I say, it just didn't feel legitimate. That's one of the reasons I don't like drop shipping in general. When we did drop shipping through Shopify, we found a winning product and we started to make really good sales. But the Chinese suppliers that we were buying from sent loads of broken stock, and it cost us an unbelievable amount of money fixing that problem. We got negative reviews. It was such a costly issue, and I just lost faith in it, because with Amazon, you actually have control over your stock. Whether you use a prep center or you do it yourself, you see physical stock. With drop shipping, it's just so risky.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that completely. No,
Cool.
I will definitely be having a look into that eBay stuff a bit more. But thank you very much, Sean.
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. Honestly, I've invested enough of my time to tell you I don't think it's worth it.
No, okay.
Look, selling physical stock on eBay, like cross-listing your stock, as you said, from Amazon, I do believe in that. The second I used Joe Lister and I started selling my Amazon stock on eBay, I was really slow selling stock that was higher value. I was selling through that really quickly on eBay. So that's why I was a big fan of that.
Right, okay. Okay, no, I shall. Like I say, I shall explore it all a little bit more.
For sure. All right, Luke, I'll leave you to it. Thank you ever so much for coming on today. It was really nice to have a chat with you.
No, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. And guys, if you've watched this and enjoyed this, link in the bio to go to our free Discord community. And we will go live every Thursday around 6 or 7 p.m. And I'm going to try and find a different guest every time. So thank you for watching. And thank you again, Luke.
Nice one. Thank you very much.